Good morning. It's so wonderful to see you all here this morning at the beginning of this new church year. My name is Magdalene Lindeberg, and I'm pleased to be your celebration associate this morning. May we gather today to nurture our connections, seek inspiration, and embrace change. Belonging is our theme for September. At a time when every political, social, and technological force is pushing us toward exclusion, one of the most radical things we can do is reach out to one another in a spirit of belonging. And with every step we take on these beautiful September days, may we reflect on how we belong to one another and to this earth. We have many activities this week and in the near future. Please read the announcements in your order of service and check the sanctuary screens to learn more. I have some special announcements. The first one is on behalf of Loretta Heimbach. Fun Times Together is the theme of our first live service auction since COVID. Unlike the community-wide auctions of the past few years, this auction will consist only of goods and services donated by FUSIT members and friends. It's a great way to meet other people when we come together to provide and enjoy purchased goods and services. Think of what you can donate: dinners, brunches, excursions, gardening, yard assistance, favorite foods, organized hikes, babysitting, and more. Or let us know what you need and give ideas that might be appealing to bidders. Our goal is to build community and connect members of our congregation. Mark your calendars for October 25th and don't miss out on this exciting evening, a delicious pre-auction dinner at 5:30 in the annex, followed by a dessert buffet and live auction at 6:45 in the sanctuary. We'll need lots of volunteers, so check the auction table in the parlor today during coffee hour. Thank you. My second announcement is on behalf of the hospitality team leaders. For those of you who may be new, the people you see on Sunday morning who are greeting, ushering, making coffee are part of rotating hospitality teams. Most of you have already been assigned to a team, and the team leaders are Jack Zinda, Cheryl Botts, and Andy Turner. Cheryl, are you here? Cheryl's waving her hand in back, and you can talk more with her after the service. I've been on Jack Zinda's team this past month, and I've been greeting and ushering, and today I'm helping out with cleanup. All things that communicate you belong here. Please watch for emails from the team leaders who will be coming into your inbox, and be sure to sign up. It's a great way to meet people and communicate a spirit of welcoming and belonging. And finally, one last announcement is that today, 12 noon in the annex, a group will be meeting to discuss the topic of reparations. That's noon in the annex. Also, if you're new and visiting for the first time, please visit the welcome table in the parlor. We also have snacks and coffee there after the service, to which you are all invited. In the spirit of an intentionally gathering in community, please take a moment to switch off your cell phones, and with that, also greet those around you. Our chalice this morning will be lit, and please join me in reading the chalice lighting words that are in your order of service. Yeah. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. I am so pleased this morning to introduce our speaker, David Salomon. David is a longtime member of this congregation, past volunteer in many capacities, and a professor at Ithaca College. He and his wife, Wendy, currently split their time between Ithaca and New Jersey.
Morning, everybody. Great to see so many familiar, but even more so to see so many strange faces who will no longer be strange after today. Our opening words are by Alice Berry. Children of the earth and sky, we are nurtured, sustained, given warmth and light from above and below. Supported by earth's strong, firm crust, we build our homes, till the fields, plant our gardens and orchards. When we turn from self and seek to be aware, we will find holy light in human faces, in blossom, bird song, and sky. Then earth is truly our home, and we are one with all earth's creatures, parents of earth's children yet to be. So if you will please rise in body and or spirit to join us in the singing of hymn number 21, which is in the gray hymnal. Number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth.
And see what, we have in the box, the Wonder Box. Wow. Well, you know what? I want to personally welcome you back. Welcome you all here. It's just great to see you. Wow, I think we're going to need to do a little renovation here and have a bigger stage, don't you? I'll put that on the list. Okay, well, this month's theme is, who knows? Belonging. So when you hear that word belonging, what other words come to mind? What other words come to mind? We'll take a minute.
Hope and love.
Hope and love. Perfect. You had one. It's what, dear?
A sentence.
I'm sorry.
A
Assented?
Sentence.
A sentence. Belonging in a sentence.
Like being in a group with other people.
Perfect. You have a sentence. You're part of it. You're in a group with other people. Perfectly. Perfectly said. Anyone else? Home. How about community? How about, you have something?
I don't know.
Well, it's okay. If you think about it, raise your hand again. Friendship, kinship, there are lots of things. And the book I have for you today speaks to this sense of community, the sense of community that we have here, and the sense of community you have beyond the doors of this beautiful sanctuary. So, on to the Wonder Box. Here we go. Everybody wants to open this. This is where I become really popular. Let's see. And you know what? There are three objects in this box. So I'm going to be able to have 3 people come up. Okay, why don't you come up? And you haven't been here in a year. You should definitely come up. Yep. And he's never done this. Next time. Okay. I'll pass that on. All right. There we go. There we go. So turn around and show everyone what we have. A bowl. So this is called a ladle.
A ladle, a pot, and a bowl.
And yes, and a pot.
A warm
That you
belly.
could. So we have the pot, and these are really going to be important in our stories.
A
So
warm belly.
and a warm belly. Yep, here we go. And I'll take the ladle. Thank you so much. I think we're ready to start the story. Here we go. I want to make sure everyone can see the beautiful illustrations here. So the title of this book is Thank You, Amu. And Amu in Nigeria means queen. And the granddaughter, Orgemara, who wrote the book, she refers to the queen as her grandmother. So this is a story about her grandmother. Raise your hand if you know a grandmother or you have a grandmother. It's a pretty important role to play in people's lives. And you're going to meet Amu. How we doing? Can we see it? Okay. The title, Thank You, Amu. Orge Mora is the author, and the illustrations are beautiful. Well, on the corner of First Street and Long Street, on the very top floor, Amu was cooking a thick red stew in a big fat pot. Remember the pot? And for a nice evening meal. She seasoned it and stirred it and took a small taste. What a delicious stew, Amu said. Tonight's dinner will surely be the best I have ever had. Well, with that, Amu put down her spoon and went to read a book before supper. As the thick red stew simmered on the stove, its scrumptious scent wafted out to the window, out the door, down the hall, toward the street, around the block until, what's this word? Knock. You can help me with that when we see that. When we get to that part, you can do the knock part. Someone was at the door. When Amu opened it, she saw a little boy. Little boy, Amu exclaimed, what brings you to my home? I was playing with my race car down the hall when I smelled the most delicious smell. The little boy replied, what is it? She says, thick red stew. Stew, he sighed. That sure sounds yummy. Amu thought for a moment. She was saving her stew for dinner, but she had made quite a bit. It would not hurt to share. Would you like some? The little boy nodded, and so Amu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Amu," the little boy said, and went on his way. With that, Amu closed the door and went back to her book. As she read, her thick red stew's scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door, down the hall, toward the street, and around the block until someone was at the door. When Amu opened the door, this time she saw a police officer. "Miss Police Officer," Amu exclaimed, "what brings you to my home?" I was on duty down the street when I smelled the most
delicious smell.
Miss Police Officer replied, "What is it?" Thick red stew. "Ah, stew," she said, and her mouth watered. "That sounds mighty tasty." Well, Amu thought for a moment. There was still enough to share. "Would you like some?" The police officer nodded, and once again Amu spooned out some thick red stew from her big fat pot for her nice evening meal. And what does the officer say?
Thank you, Amu.
And went on her way. And so for the second time, she closed the door, went back to her book. Sure enough, as she read, her thick red stew's scrumptious scent wafted out the window. Then where did it go? Out the door, down the hall, toward the street, and around the block until
Knock, knock, knock.
again someone was at Amu's door. This time when she opened it, she saw a hot dog vendor. "Mr. Hot Dog Vendor," Amu exclaimed, "what brings you to my home?" "Well, I was selling my hot dogs down the block when I smelled the most delicious smell." "What is it?" What does she call it? "Oh, stew," the vendor licked his lips. "That sounds quite delicious." So Amu spooned some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Amu," the hot dog vendor said, and went on his way. Well, here it goes. Throughout the day, these are all the people that came. People came from across the neighborhood, knocked on her door. She fed a shop owner, a cab driver, a doctor, an actor, a lawyer, a dancer, a baker, an artist, a singer, an athlete, a bus driver, a construction worker, and even the mayor stopped by. And each time they knocked, Amu shared. Well, soon the sky darkened and the street lights brightened, and it was finally time for dinner when Amu opened her big fat pot of thick red stew for her nice evening meal. What do you think was there? You are so right. Well, she sniffled a bit. There goes the best dinner I ever had. Sorry and a little blue, she sat at the table with her empty pot until, here we go.
Knock, 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 knock.
Who could that be? Amu wondered. When she opened her door, she saw the little boy, the police officer, the hot dog vendor, the shop owner, the cab driver, the doctor, the actor, the lawyer, the dancer, the baker. Why, everyone she fed today was at her door. I'm sorry, everyone. Amu sighed. My thick red stew is all gone. I have nothing left to share. Well, the little boy tugged at Amu's sleeve. Don't worry, Amu. We are not here to ask. We are here to give. The police officer carried in a fresh salad. The mayor entered with a roast chicken. The baker brought a collection of sweet goodies, and even the little boy presented Amu with something special in a shiny red envelope. Well, everyone who had knocked on Amu's door that day squeezed inside her tiny apartment, and together they ate, danced, and celebrated. While Amu's big fat pot of thick red stew was empty, her heart was full of happiness and love. And the dinner was the best she ever had. And here is the note from the little boy. What does it say?
Thank you, Amu.
Yeah. So this is really a pretty perfect book when we're talking about community and belonging.
You have to give something to get something.
Oh, well, there you go. Quite the philosopher right here. Thank you.
If she did give that the stew, then no one would have shared with her.
I mean, but
That's
also she
true.
But also, if she didn't make the stew, then everyone wouldn't have knocked on her door, and she wouldn't. I mean, also, if she lived in the woods, then she wouldn't have had to share the stew. She could have eaten it all herself.
Oh, right, if she lived in the woods. But obviously, she lived in a city.
She didn't live
Yeah,
in the
good,
woods.
yeah, good
I
thinking.
mean, but I bet if she did live in the woods, then animals would have come or something. I don't know.
Well, it's almost time for us to go upstairs, and I'm going to join you with Jess, and we've got a great project to work on together. There's Jess with her wings, and
If you have not put your children in, please come do that now, and we are going upstairs. Thank you.
okay, and we'll sing our friends out. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. You're divine, my divine. You're divine, my divine.
Good morning. Are we on the first Sunday of the month or not? This is not the first. Thank you. In a spirit of reverence, love, and care, we take time now to bear witness to some of the joys and sorrows of our community, to share those events that call for our prayers and support, our praise and celebration. From Magdalene, thank you to all who participated at Linda Loomis's memorial service yesterday. It was a tribute to community and a life well lived. For those we are holding in our thoughts, in our hearts, and perhaps in our prayers, Into this community, into the space of healing and hope, let us call these names out loud or speak them in our hearts right now. We extend loving kindness to all in our world, and let us not forget to extend loving kindness to ourselves. Today, tomorrow, and beyond, let our hands be outstretched in kindness, and let us keep showing up to our lives and each other with an open heart, no matter what. Love and courage to us all. Blessed be, and amen.
Our words for meditation come from Gaston Bachelard's book, Poetics of Space. A house is imagined as a vertical being. It rises upward. It differentiates itself in terms of its verticality. It is one of the appeals to our consciousness of verticality. Verticality is ensured by the polarity of cellar and attic, the marks of which are so deep that in a way they open up two very different perspectives for a phenomenology of the imagination. Indeed, it is possible, almost without commentary, to oppose the rationality of the roof to the irrationality of the cellar. The house is our corner of the world. As has often been said, it is our first universe, a real cosmos in every sense of the word. Through poems, perhaps more than through recollections, we touch the ultimate poetic depth of the space of the house. This being the case, if I were asked to name the chief benefit of the house, I would say, the house shelters daydreaming. The house protects the dreamer. The house allows one to dream in peace.
Each week, we take an offering to sustain the important ministries and programs of the congregation and its presence in Ithaca. Giving to the plate is important. It's a symbol of our gratitude for this service and our ongoing commitment to support the work of this church. For those watching remotely, follow the instructions on the screen. For those attending in person, our ushers will pass the plate.
This one should be familiar from last week, so if you want to sing along, feel free. Yeah. This boat is steady, this boat is sure. When you're ready, climb aboard. When you're ready, grab an oar. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. We all know hardship, we all know pain, but nothing ventured means nothing gained, and every rainbow needs the rain. You're not alone, try again. This boat is steady, this boat is sure. When you're ready, climb aboard. When you're ready, grab an oar. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. Even if you've been tempest-tossed, even if you feel that all is lost, you've heard the thunder roar, had a look at heaven's door. If you're sinking like a stone, this boat will carry you home. This boat is steady, this boat is sure. When you're ready, climb aboard. When you're ready, grab an oar. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore.
Please join me in saying the offertory words in your order of service. May these gifts bring about connection, inspiration, and engagement within these walls and beyond.
Before I read for you, a quick announcement related to what I'm going to read for you, which is after the service, I think around 12, I'll be headed up to the Ithaca College campus to show people around an exhibition that I curated called Section as Cosmogram, and everybody is invited. Come see me in the parlor or at the door if you want. Well, directions are hard, but I'll try my best. Anyhow, hope to see many, many of you there today. Our reading comes from Mircea Eliade from his book, The Sacred and the Profane. For religious people, space is not homogeneous. They experience interruptions, breaks in it. Some parts of space are qualitatively different from others. This spatial specificity finds expression in the experience of an opposition between space that is sacred and all other space, the formless expanse surrounding it, the profane. It is this break produced by sacred space that allows the world to be established, because it reveals the fixed point, the central axis for all future orientation. Here we have the prototype of a cosmological image that has been widely disseminated, a cosmic pillar that supports heaven and at the same time opens the road to the world of the divine. Where the breakthrough from one cosmic plane to another has been established by this break, an opening has been made, either upward to the divine world, the world of the eternal future, or downward to the underworld, the world of the dead, the world of the past. The three cosmic levels, earth, heaven, and underworld, have been put in communication. This communication is sometimes expressed through the image of a universal pillar, an axis mundi, which at once connects and supports heaven and earth, and whose base is fixed in the world below, the infernal regions. Such a cosmic pillar can be only at the very center of the universe, for the whole of the habitable world expands around it. Hence, the manifestation of such a sacred space has a cosmological valence. Every spatial instantiation of the sacred, every axis mundi, is equivalent to the founding of the world, of the universe, of the cosmos. I was recently asked in a professional setting, what are your first memories of an architectural space? My immediate thought in my head was my grandmother's basement and attic. Realizing that I should have a fancier answer, one worthy of an architecture professor, which I am, I thought of my encounter with the Guggenheim Museum, Frank Lloyd Wright's Guggenheim Museum in New York City in 1985 when I was still in high school. Fancy schmancy be damned. When it was my turn to respond to my peers, I went with my instincts, a cellar and an attic in Hudson, New York. Now, upon reflection, my answer reminded me of the French phenomenologist and psychoanalytic philosopher Gaston Bachelard. I can be fancy. For him, the cellar and attic were the spaces of dreams, as you heard already today. In his book, The Poetics of Space, reason dwelled in the attic, irrationality in the basement. Both of these liminal zones were necessary, he argued, for the everyday life that was suspended between these two levels. Our mental health, he claimed, required us to think, to remember, and to daydream. So, inspired by that sequence of questions and blurting outs and reflection, and also inspired by my current research interest in cosmograms and Axis Mundi, which, as I mentioned, are the themes of the exhibition up at Ithaca College that you're invited to join me after the service to go look at. I would like to talk to you this morning about our shared basement and attic here at FUSIT, both literally and figuratively, for I will definitely make some leaps. Let's start at the top. So I invite everybody to imagine yourself across the street staring back at our steeple. Now, I really had an idea that we would go out there and look at it. Maybe if this were a summer service, we would have done that, but I think it might be too much. But anyhow, you can. I hope you can imagine it. And if you haven't been out there, go out there afterwards. Anyhow, if we were out there, we would notice that it's red, it's tall, it's a relatively skinny 8-sided pyramid. Back in the day, it must have had a line of sight with the steeple of the Episcopal Church down the block, as well as the domes, turrets, and towers of the many other houses of worship that populate this part of town. It's a thing, these towers. Now, back inside, if you look straight ahead, not at me, but just to the sides, straight ahead, and then slowly look up. Above the cylindrical columns and half-circular arches and the rectangular windows is an elegant wooden square coffered ceiling with beams in both directions? We're in the middle of a veritable universalism of Euclidean forms here. But where did that pyramid go? I've stared at these geometries for 20 years. Only recently did I find their combination curious, if not incongruous. Why so many shapes? And why can't we see the inside of a steeple, or at least an echo of its angular geometry? Why does our gaze stop so abruptly and relatively shortly when we look up? Yeah, we have those beautiful clear-story windows that let in light, and it's pretty tall, but beyond that ceiling, it gets even taller. Why not expose it? What lives in that attic of ours? I say I only recently had such thoughts because only recently have I been thinking about how buildings and drawings of buildings can perform as axis mundi. As Eliade argued, axis mundi are special places and things that figuratively and physically attempt to link the heavens, the earth, and the underworld. They are where the living, the non-living, which can be interpreted for sure as the divine, and the dead coexist. They are places where the sacred and the secular meet. They're not one or the other, they are both. It's places where the limited and the infinite interact, where the stars and the soil can be integrated. They are a type of cosmogram, a thing that attempts to capture the entire universe in a single image or object. It's impossible, but yet they do it. Temples and churches are classic examples of axis mundi, as are tombs, crypts, mausoleums, and monuments, but also sacred trees and mountains. More recently, one could claim, well, actually I would claim, that astronomical observatories with their domes and telescopes placed high upon mountaintops, often sacred mountaintops, are more modern scientific versions of the same. Most of these examples are relatively tall compared to their surroundings. Most have a direct religious association. Most, but not all. Indeed, my argument today, my argument in my exhibition and my research these days is that axis mundi can and do exist almost everywhere and all the time, even if you don't believe in the traditional definition of the divine. An axis mundi is present whenever a relationship, and here I would argue especially an ecological relationship, between the stars, the sun, the atmosphere, and the ground is created, or a social relationship between the past, present, or future, or memory, history, and dreams is established. In other words, right now you are located within an axis mundi. You are at one of the many centers of the universe. In my grandparents' house, the attic was a hot, dry, relatively bright space. You accessed it via a tiny bent staircase next to the linen closet. It smelled like wood, like dust, like sunshine. I only remember it in summer. It was a mess. There were suitcases, maybe some old furniture, toys. I really don't remember the specifics. What I remember is the light, the air, the smell, and the amber color. I can smell it right now. I can see it right now. Unlike the spaces in my then mostly suburban world, it made you feel something, both physical and mental. I certainly wasn't in heaven, but I did feel up in the air. My grandmother's basement, and it was her basement, for sure, was unfinished. It had patches of dirt floor, only a few lights, exposed rough stone foundations. I'm guessing the Fall Creekers among us are nodding their heads in recognition of such a space. It was as much a part of the earth as it was a part of the rest of the house. The air was viscous. It smelled of soil. It felt damp, except, that is, when Marta Solomon worked her magic in those ovens down there. Though it was forebodingly dark, I was not afraid of any ghosts in that basement, probably because I knew it was the place where she baked, roasted, pickled, and canned. She worked down there because it was cooler. There was more room than in her small kitchen. It was utilitarian. And yet, there was death down there, too. It was present in the harvested fruits, vegetables, and animals she used, many of which were picked alive from local gardens, farms, orchards, and her backyard. The chickens, too, came live. Perhaps that's another reason she cooked down there, to keep death in its place, presenting to us only the reincarnated flesh of our perpetually crowded table. Of course, those fruits and vegetables and animals were originally dependent on the energy from the sun, the rain from the atmosphere, and the nutrients in the soil before they were transformed in that basement. That is, that they were all a part, or they all formed an ecological axis mundi, an interconnected web of life that literally sustains us. Looking back, that food, that basement, that woman penetrated my being, my soul. I can still taste that food in my mouth. I can feel that air. I can hear my grandmother's infrequent laugh. They may not be eternal or divine, but those meals, that food, that cellar linger, if not haunt me. I've been trying to reproduce my grandmother's roast chicken for as long as I have been cooking, which is about 40 years. Never once have I come close. In that, I have failed. Where I don't think I have failed is in teaching our children the importance of food, of cooking, of crowded tables where people want to linger, if only to taste one more bite of something delicious. On that front, the underworld, the dead, my grandmother, is alive and well. For comparison, there was no cooking going on in the semi-finished basement of my suburban house, the suburban house that I grew up in. There was no habitable garret either. Not every house is an axis mundi. Is every house of worship? Is our UU home one? After I gave a sermon on ghosts this past winter, John Gaines, John, not here, told me a story he had heard. When this building that we're in was built, the architect Henry Smith Miller had to negotiate the fact that there had been a creek where Aurora Street is now, and that the foundations of the structure was influenced by and showed evidence of that fact. These are unsubstantiated stories, by the way. That made me put my architectural historian hat on. It reminded me of pyramids in Central America, and many other temples are stories about temples which are built above subterranean springs. It's uncanny how many stories there are like this. Springs that identify the location of the birth of that culture's people and provide access to their underworld. Eliade calls such places the navels of the earth. It also reminded me that in other religious structures, the basement, or crypt, houses reliquaries or tombs of important religious figures and artifacts. Now, many of the relics we keep, or at least used to keep, I haven't been down in the basement in a while, are more utilitarian, and I really should have as research, but I got a story to tell, so we're going to go with this. Anyhow, what I remember down there is a boiler, tables and chairs, champagne, various flotsam and jetsam. But if John's story is true, and as I said, not verified, we had a little discussion amongst us historians here, there are signs of a deep past, a deeper past as well, one that is more ecological and geological, that the foundations of our church is influenced, if not contains remnants of a stream redirected by human hands, certainly helps me to see it as part of our own underworld, an underworld defined more by natural and human history, but an underworld all the same. In sacrificing the stream, we gained a home. Are its ghosts still around? Well, the cellar is dry, so maybe the door to our underworld has been sealed. Regardless, the fact that the ancient topography and geology of Ithaca are present in our basement gets me one step closer to understanding FUSIT as an axis mundi. Since February, the thought has crossed my mind of how we might bring that dark, cool space into our sanctuary and put it more in direct communication with the tower and the steeple. Now, if we did such a thing, if we cut a hole in the floor, it might cause things to look and smell a little funny. Such a hole would also be in the way. It might make the room less functional. Still, maybe we could have a trapdoor to control when to reveal that our relics aren't the remains of saints and martyrs, but of the physical earth itself, the rocks, the water, the soil. Doing so could reinforce our own UU vision of an Axis Mundi, one not dependent on specific deities or a singular set of beliefs, but one in which the mysteries of the universe have physical, historical, ecological, scientific, and spiritual origins and connections. So, in this spirit of opening us into communication with the basement, with the underworld, we could also say, I could imagine at least, that we could open up this ceiling and exposing the maybe unwieldy but still beautiful inner structural workings of the steeple in the name of thinking, talking, and singing about the infinite realms that exist beyond it and beyond our atmospheres. Now, such thoughts remind me of stories of Mary Kilpatrick and Sarah Catterall climbing around in the inside space between the ceiling and our spire when it needed repair, and maybe that's why we don't see it. Again, I should have checked my sources, but for the next version. So I know there are good practical and aesthetic reasons why we shouldn't see what's up there. In learning more about the history of our building, I was told that there were once pictures of music-playing angels that adorned the inside walls of the steeple. Maybe we could reinstall them to remind us that we are indeed connected to the heavens, not only via spiritual beings, but by the human-made music created in this space. Or maybe we could replace the steeple with a glass one, top it with a weather vane, or better yet, a telescope. Maybe I'm going too far. Although, I used to be in charge of the stewardship campaign, so I know how to raise money around here, so maybe if we want to, I'm the man. If we did such a thing, it might undermine our connection to the past by replacing something old with something new. Still, my point is that it's not difficult to imagine, although it is more difficult and expensive to build, how we could amplify the Axis Mundi aspects of our own house of worship, our own verticality. The verticality that connects us with the here and the now, with the then and the used to be. Eliade argued that Axis Mundi produce special holy places. They are ruptures in the fabric of everyday secular space. They are places where the gods dwell, spaces where one can encounter the divine, or if you prefer, the cosmos, the unknown, the ineffable, the mysterious. I like mystery. I like the mysterious. That's my current favorite substitute for the divine these days. Because mysteries, unlike myths, have the potential to be solved. Is that what I was doing when I was exploring that house in Hudson? Is that what we are all doing here when we look up to the heavens or down into the depths of our buildings and our memories? Are we trying to break through these profane spaces to peek into the many mysteries that invisibly and silently surround us? What stories, what mysteries, what dreams are hiding down in our basements and up in our attics? By our, I mean each of us individually, but also as a congregation, as a nation, as a species. What fears are buried in our shared basement? What dreams are rummaging around in our attics? Perhaps we should visit them more often, if only to be reminded of the hold that they have on us. So it was a simple question that led me to ask these questions. What was your first spatial memory? I'm grateful that my grandparents' house had a basement and an attic, which, with the help of Bachelard and Eliade, have allowed me to daydream with you this morning about Axis Mundi, about the past, and about the many futures we could still make for ourselves in this space and everywhere else, in secular and in sacred space. We can do that if we have the will and the faith and the courage and the resources to do so. Thank you. So, if you would please rise in body and/or spirit and join us in our closing hymn, number 123, The Great Spirit of Life.
As surely as we belong to the universe, we belong to each other. We join here to transcend the isolated self, to reconnect, to know ourselves, to be at home, here on earth, under the stars, linked with each other. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Our service has ended. Let our true service now begin.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell a story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the love that stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. Then our heart is in a holy place.
Go in peace and join us in the parlor for coffee and snacks.